Shush? Shush. Okay, so it's my pleasure to introduce Reuben. He's going to be talking about business without bosses, the rise of for-profit clusters. Reuben.
Howdy. I didn't tell him that stuff, by the way. We, and by we I mean, humans, have done some pretty cool stuff over the last couple of thousand years. And one of the reasons for that is we're able to work together to achieve a common goal. And in the last few years in particular, there's been some pretty mind-blowing examples of how organizational structures are popping up to change with the new environments and new technologies and to meet the new challenges that accompany them. And as a general rule, interconnectivity is going up, and some of the linear governance models are sort of starting to flatten out. And so it's about some of those organizations that I want to talk about today, and perhaps provide some context around how we fit into these new environments and technologies and cool stuff. So, design sourcing. A company called 99 Designs. Somebody wants a logo or graphic design, posts up a cash prize. Artists then submit their designs, and whoever gets the design gets chosen, gets the cash, no resume needed. There's one called allaboutthestory.com. This allows anybody to write an article about something. If that article gets chosen to publish by a media outlet and say a magazine, then whoever wrote that article gets the writer's fee. No bachelor's in English required. So you can just do that, which is cool. An organization called Picture This. The project gets people to take pictures of physical addresses like Google Maps. Once you get a big enough database, you can sell that for a whole bunch of money, and the profits are shared to the photographers. So if you do that right, you're looking at about 20 bucks an hour for taking photos with your mobile phone without ever having to go through a job interview. And so what's happening here, there's two distinct things. The first one is the rise of crowdsourcing, which is getting a bunch of people to do stuff instead of one person, and made possible, of course, by our good friend, the interwebs. And the second thing that's happening is the rise of open enterprise model, which is defined as a meritocratic, community-based organization governed by an opt-in engagement model, which translates to working with a company instead of for one, which is a big difference. So the combination of these two separate yet related phenomena means a fundamental shift in how we're doing things. It means less management and more distributed leadership. It means you choosing when you want to work, how you want to work, and where you want to work. And it means working with people who have the same values as you do. And it means that if you have a good idea and everybody else in the organization thinks that's a good idea, then you can make it happen and you can turn that into reality. So if you think this is a bit of a stretch and it's a wee while away, I'd ask you to consider Crowdsource FM for a start, which will pay you to like things on Facebook, on YouTube and other social platforms. The more influence you have, the more money you get. People can and do work in their pajamas, and you can too. Tonight, if you so choose. ClickWorker has a whole bunch of things going on that you can do, from translating to software testing to local distribution of products and or knowledge. The scope is broadening on a weekly basis, and people are really starting to take notice, which is, neat. Fiverr.com has to be my favorite so far. What will you do for $5? The cool thing is you can just make stuff up as well, so including give parenting advice, which I thought was pretty interesting. I will read your past life for $5. It's a bargain right there. TextEagle has over 2 billion people in developing countries ready to work on projects remotely via their mobile phones. And that's exciting because it's also helping decentralize the global wealth and get it to the economies that really need it as well. So moving around the place. And by the way, you no longer have to be rich in order to invest into a startup company. And in fact, there's a lot of at least a dozen sites now where you can put as little as $20 into a startup on the other side of the world, and you own a piece of that business. Yeah, really, really cool stuff. There's a local development cluster here in Wellington called Inspiral, who've done some pretty impressive stuff in a short space of time using this methodology, including help develop some software called Better Means that helps manage organizations that run open enterprise models. And it's not finished yet, but it does allow efficient democratic decision-making and is coming along in leaps and bounds. Google that when you can. You won't regret it. It's a very cool tool for a long time coming and explains a lot about what I'm talking about today on the front page with that video. So as a result of all this, it's suddenly very easy to change. Tools alone, however, cannot change people's behavior. So the good news is education does, and open universities are already available for free online. Truly public education system, capable of changing, is growing as fast as we need it to. And the result of all of this, it's certainly very easy to change the world. You don't need to have a degree to get involved. You don't need money for that matter or experience. All you need to do is care enough to actually do something and find other people willing to do the same. And so I'd like to close tonight with an open invitation to participate. Find something you care enough about for change. And if there's not already a movement out there that looks like you want it to, then you can start one. Thank you.